and welcome to this, our fifth lecture in our series for our course on drought. We are glad you can join us. We thank you again for taking part in this very important course to all of us across the globe. Now, today we want to talk about where drought occurs. Actually, it's a continuation of lecture 4, in which we discuss droughts in dry lands, we discuss drought in the Americas, and we discuss drought in Africa. Today we want to talk about other regions of the world. We want to talk about the Middle East and North Africa, which is sometimes referred to as the MENA region. We will then talk a little bit about drought in Europe, we will talk a little bit about drought in Asia, and we'll talk a little bit about drought in Australia. As you can see, we are basically covering the globe, and you're saying, oh, wow, droughts are all over the place. Yes, they are indeed. Now let's turn to the MENA region. The MENA region, as I've said, means the Middle East, North Africa region. Now, you might not know this, but it is absolutely true that that region of the world only have 1.4% of renewable water, potable water, but it has 6.3% of the world's population. So it is one of the more water-scarce regions of the world. And when drought appears, what happens? Of course, the problem becomes more severe. And when that happens, what do you have? You have spiraling problems, economic problems, social problems, and so on. Competition for the resource we call what? Water. A matter of fact, there is an argument by many that the 2006 to 2011 drought period contributed to the conflict that we know as the Syrian conflict today. Therefore, it is clear that drought has a serious impact on this already water-stressed region, and those impacts lead to serious consequences. Now let's jump over to Europe. It's assumed by many that Europe is all green and it doesn't suffer from drought. This is not true. The facts doesn't support that. A matter of fact, Southern Europe, countries like Spain and Italy, from time to time do get drought. And when they do get drought, it seriously affects agriculture. For example, it has been shown that droughts have severely impacted the production of olive oil in Italy, for example. This is known, this has been proven. Outside of that, it is known that this does not just affect one agricultural product, but agriculture as a whole in these parts of Europe. In fact, it is said that, well, some estimates say that Europe loses approximately $6.2 billion every year from drought. Yes, Europe. So you see, drought is in Europe as well. Now let's turn to Asia. Asia is a big place. It's our biggest continent, okay, on this planet. But you know, Central Asia, South Asia, and Southeast Asia are regions that seriously have drought problems. Countries like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and even Sri Lanka. Yes, they do have droughts. And when these droughts come about, of course, there are consequences. Not just water consequences, but economic consequences, and the list goes on, right? India presents us a very interesting case if you want to understand what happens in this part of Asia as regards drought. There's a great history there. But these are short lectures. We're just introducing you. You will do the reading. So that was Asia. Let's turn to Australia. And Australia, from the 1860s, if you look it up, from the 1860s, have had many droughts, right? And they have been very serious droughts. For example, there was a drought from 1895 to 1903. That was a long period, and it was a severe drought. And then again, there was another drought in Australia between 1958 and 68. Okay? Now, you're saying to yourself, is that real? Yes. My dear ladies and gentlemen, it is real. It is true. But in addition to that, we know that there was the Millennium Drought from 1997 to 2009. Now, all of these droughts in Australia have had serious effects, not just for water, for agriculture. There has been tremendous loss of livestock, and in some cases, there have been loss of lives. Outside of that, as many of you might know, these droughts contribute to a lot of the wildfires we now see taking place in Australia. So here we have it from all across this planet of ours, we see that drought does have its impact. What can we conclude from that? Well, we can conclude that many regions of this world suffer from drought, not just the dryness, but two, that the impacts are great. And this we will discuss in a future lecture. Three is that because droughts are spread or can spread across the globe, it is everybody's business. Fourth, we know that with climate change, drought are going to increase, and you never know when it will come knocking on your door if it hasn't knocked your door yet. The fact remains this, that what we are facing here now in this world of ours is that drought affects periodically at least 4 billion people on a yearly basis. And there are at least 500 million people who suffer permanent water stress because of drought. These are facts we cannot ignore, and this is why drought is everybody's problem. Now, the thing is this, because of climate change and other factors, if the current trend continues, believe it or not, not in a not too distant future, what we can have is more than half the world's population facing serious water stress, serious water scarcity. This is why this is a global problem that we all must pay attention to. And this is why this course is important. You don't have to be a drought specialist. You're a human being on this planet, and it will affect you in one way or the other. Until next time, allow me to please remind you that in taking this course, should you have any challenges, please write to us or call us, and we will answer your questions. We will assist you. We thank you for taking part in this course, but we asked you as well to please share it with others, because it's something that everybody should know. Finally, remember to read the important material, because you cannot complete this course without knowing the facts. And at the end of this course, of course, you will get, once you successfully complete the course, you will get a certificate. But to do so, you must know the material. Until next time, it was my pleasure speaking to you. My name is Richard Byron Cox.